continue from the previous video. So we have two groups. So we have group A with non-smoker and group B with the smoker. So then according to the data, so we have the histogram here. But here just the distribution according to the histogram from these two groups. So how should we do the testing? Yeah, so remember that earlier we said the test statistic, right? So since we want to compare the average of the baby weight from two groups, so one thing we will do is we will just find the differences between the average weight from the two groups. So since we have two groups, we just find the weight. Then we use the group B average minus group A. If that's got the negative values, so this statistic favor the alternative. Okay, so continue with our statistic testing. So since we care about the average, so the same thing, that's got our average table. Okay, so using our smoke and birth weight, so we group according to the smoke group. So all the value that's got the average. Okay, so that's why here we will get the two different groups. So then we have our average of the birth weight. So then we can using these two to find the differences. Since the first one is group A, the second one is group B. So then we just got this column. So the mean is the column, the second column, the number index is 1. Okay, so that's we call this array's mean. So our observed difference will be from B, so the item 1 minus group A, so item 0. So then you can see the difference. So the difference is about a little more than 9 pounds. And also that's negative, right? Because we're using the B minus A. So this one just observe data. Remember, we still need to do the simulation. So in order to do the simulation, the easier way we can do is we need to write our function. So this function we will always have our, this function we will calculate the difference of the mean using the group B average minus group A. In this function, we have 3 different parameters. The first parameter, we pass in the table. The second parameter is the numerical data we want to compare. So then the third one is the group label. So that's why here, whenever you pass in the table, then we will, according to the numerical, according to the group, then find the numerical data column. So then we find the average, then we subtract each one. So that's why you will see here, after you pass the table, right, that's the full table. So we only need the numerical label and the group label. So then we call that a new table. We call reduce. So then to find the average, to find the mean table, you have, depends on your group, right? So then you have, according to the group label, so you find the average for your numerical label data. So then here we will just get the mean. So we got the mean for the column 1. Okay, so because that will be the second column in the numerical data. So then we just minus each other. Okay, so that's our function. Okay, so this function is whenever you have a table, okay, so then tell me which numerical label you want to do the statistic testing. So then we have our group. So each time they just, but this one we only find the average. So then we will according to the group average to find the differences. Okay, so this one, since we have the function, so we can run again. But since we only have the observed data, okay, so they will be exactly the same as earlier, the observed data. So we have the function ready using the observed data. Of course, we need to use this function to do our simulation. So then you will see how to do the simulation. Because one thing is, remember earlier our data here. Okay, so then we only have the baby weight and the group. But this one actually, they are just sample. So actually, we don't have our population data. We only have the sample data. And this sample data including 2 groups. So that's it. That's our data. But remember before, we say in order to do the simulation, we need to do the random sample again and again and again from the population, right? So how should we do? Okay, so how should we do? So this one actually we want to talk about a new thing. We call that the random permutation. That's shuffling. Okay, so what does that mean? Okay, so the first thing we need to see our data. Our data earlier we about, let me see the number. So earlier our data actually we have almost 1200 newborn information. So they have the baby's weight. Okay, so then they see the mom either smoke or not smoking. So according to this sample data, how can we do the simulation? Okay, how to perform the simulation? So that's why here we need to go back to see our hypothesis. So we go back to see our null hypothesis. We say in the population, the distributions of the birth weight of the baby in 2 groups are the same. Okay, so that's our null hypothesis. Okay, so according to this hypothesis, what does that mean? Yeah, here is our sample. So in order to kind of simulate the from the population, we just think the baby weight actually is not affected by their smoker or non-smoker. So on the other hand, okay, so we just keep those about 1200 sample baby weight. Then we try to, according to our group, the smoke, we just say kind of smoke label, the value. Here, we just shuffle that. That means we random switch the same baby weight, but they are smoker or non-smoker. That's our random shuffling. That's our random shuffling. So just mean here, when you see the data here, okay, this column, baby birth weight, this column don't change. So then according to the smoker column, we just random shuffling that using the same amount of the row number. So how to do that? Actually, you already learned that before. This one, when we say how you shuffling the rows, actually this shuffling row, we are not shuffling the whole row. We're just using the column about the smoker label to shuffle that one. So this one is we call the random permutation. And this one you already learned that. Remember we have the sample function from the tables. Okay, so before our sample function, we just told you, hey, then just tell me how many row you want to get from the sample, from the table. So then we will pick that for you. So we use that, right? So actually this one, when you're using the sample function, you passing the n, they will just pick n row randomly with placement, with replacement. And for this function, actually, we can, without the n argument, if you just call the sample function, passing nothing in there. So actually, this table will generate the same number of the row as the original table, and they pick up randomly with the replacement. Okay, so that's why they just kind of rearrange. So this way, kind of is we say the random permutation. We keep the same number of the row, okay, but we randomly pick up with the replacement. Okay, but with the replacement, actually is not what we want. Because one thing is, we back to see here, when we want to do the shuffling under the null distribution, okay, so then here, right, the baby weight don't change. We just random shuffle the label for the smoke or non-smoker. But one thing is, originally, how many smoker, how many non-smoker, the number won't change. So that's why here you will see earlier we show you, right? So here we have 715 non-smoker and 459 smoker. This ratio we don't change. So in order to get this ratio not change, we need to use the no replacement. Okay. So that's why remember on the previous lecture we also have do the sample, right? You can have the n, but also you can specify is with no replacement. However, this one is still not what we want to use for this example. Yeah, because in this example, we are not just want to get n. We want to keep all the sample size we have earlier, but we need to do the without replacement. So that's why we will use this one. Okay, so this one is we call the sample function. We don't pass in the size. Then we just specify with replacement equal to false. So that means they just reshuffle all the rows from the original table with the same number of the rows in a random order. So that's what we want. So quickly to summarize how we will do the simulation under the no. So if the no hypothesis is true, so all the rearrangement of the labels were equally likely. So that's possible, right? Because we just say actually the baby's weight doesn't for no matter smoker or non-smoker, their distribution is the same. So one thing is we will keep the baby weight column the same, but we shuffle the group label. Then we assign each shuffle label to a birth weight. So then we will find the difference between the average of the two shuffle group. So again, like we say, they still have two groups. They have smoker group and non-smoker group. So then we can find the average. Then we do find the difference. So that's for each one. So the first three items, that's mean. Each time we do that, we have one simulation. So on the other hand, we just need to repeat to do the 3 steps to repeat our simulation in a good amount of time. So that's our testing. So then we back to see how we will do that in Python. Okay, before we really do that, let's show you again the random permutation in an easy example. So this one actually here we just say we have a table. Okay, we have a table column value. We have A, B, C, D, E. Okay, so we create a table. So then you see here, if we just call sample using this table, they just again using, since you have 5 row, so then they just display 5 row. Okay, but one thing is earlier that we say if you didn't specify, they will random shuffle with replacement. So that's why you can see C actually they display 3 times, but it's not what we want. We have A, B, C, D, E. We want their they all have A, B, C, D, E exactly 1 time, but they just in different location. So if we want to do that, yeah, we just do the originally ladder table, right? So then we do the sample function. You just specify with replacement equal to false. So that's why you can see here you have your A, B, C, D, E in different location, but they only exactly show 1 time. Okay, so here we know this one is we generate another set of arrangement, right? So then we just add this one, okay, into our ladder table. So then we call shuffled result. So then you will see here. Okay, so we compare. That's the originally A, B, C, D, E. So then what is the result for the shuffling? Okay. So this one actually is what we want to do our sample data from earlier, our newborn baby table. Okay, so what we want to do is we keep the baby weight the same. But here our smoker group here is what the column we want to do the shuffling. So how to do that? So then when you see the table, we only have the weight and the smoker. So what we do is we want to shuffle the label for the first column. Okay, so that's why here is our original data. Okay, so we do the sample. Okay, we do the sample shuffling with the replacement. Okay, so then using the column for the smoker. So that's why you got your shuffle label like this. Okay, so that's why you can see the true and false, they just changed. Okay, so let's continue with the whole thing, the testing in the next video. I will stop here.